Hi guys, welcome back to the First Half Podcast. We are here again to share our opinions on football. I'm here with my brother
Dennis.
and I'm Patrick. I'm Patrick. Charlie, bro, how you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm not bad. We are still enjoying some beautiful football nowadays. Yeah,
the football news is coming rapidly.
Rapidly.
Yeah.
I'm even surprised. This year has been very eventful.
Yeah, exciting. For podcasters like ourselves, it gives us more to share our opinions on and more content for you guys.
So, the table is turning out very interesting.
Okay.
The top level of the table is also quite interesting. You know? And I would want us to delve into it and look at how the race is going so far. Some may say that it's a top 5 race, but now I believe it's a top 4 race.
Okay.
Maybe we can discuss that later on in our discussions.
Yeah.
So, who grabbed the 2 spots left? It's quite tight. No doubt, everybody who's watching this podcast knows I'm a Liverpool fan.
Okay.
I'm happy about where we are, but then I am not too. I won't be too, comfortable to say that it's ours for the taking.
Yeah.
Because anything can happen. We have 12 more games to go.
12 more games.
Yeah.
And mathematically, it's not over.
It's actually not over.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then what would you think? Because I think that anything can happen within those 12 games. I am very confident that Liverpool won't slip.
Yeah.
However, there's the EPL. Anything can happen. So the 2 top spots at the top, what do you think? Who do you think is likely to grab them?
Well, I think when it comes to the top spot, as in the first, the winner is almost done because, like I said, if Liverpool doesn't win this season, it would be the worst bottle job we've ever seen. At this point, it's really, when we talk about being in your hands to lose it,
that's what it means.
What we mean.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting that within the next 6 games, they can actually wrap it up because I can't see Arsenal putting.
So not to cut you, when you say within the next, you mean if we win the next 6 games?
Yeah.
You think it's a done deal?
Yes, because
regardless of the result from the other teams.
I see Arsenal dropping point. I don't see them consistently putting a 6-game win together because when it comes to their top of the team in terms of the scoring goals, they are lacking. So that is where it becomes a challenge for them, and they are conceding goals as well.
Yeah, they are.
So for that reason, we can't guarantee that they can be able to push you guys. If you look at the table right now, they are actually closer to 10th position than the top.
So it's interesting about the table.
Exactly. When you talk about top 4, you may think the first 2 spots is gone. But I can see if Arsenal is not careful, they could be pulled into the mist and then they can be part of the top 4 competition. Although I still think they can be able to pull through because they've amassed enough points to be able to stay there. But if you look at the 4th position, which is 47 by Man City, and then 54, they having 54. That means that, they are not very far away from being part of the top 4 race. So they need to really put their act together so that we can comfortably say that the first 2 points is taken. The positions are gone. And then we have about, almost 7 or 6 teams fighting for the top 4, and it's going to be very, very interesting in the next 12 games.
It will.
Yeah.
I think that Arsenal should be actually very careful.
Okay.
And as much as the last Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest, Newcastle punished Nottingham Forest very badly, I still think that Nottingham Forest is a force to reckon with, and Arsenal should be careful. However, even if you look at the top 4 spot, Manchester City is still not at its best.
No, they're not.
So if we come back and we are playing good football, that is Chelsea. Chelsea can actually get into the top 4 and kick Man City out. By the time the season ends, I am actually expecting a lot of surprises in the top 4.
There's going to be a lot of mix-ups. A lot of mix-ups
because there are people who are patiently waiting in that line from the 2nd or the 3rd to the 10th position. Anything can happen. So, nobody is saying that, it's a done deal now. And a lot of these teams now really want to play Champions League football.
Of course. The revenues that come with it are quite good for most of these teams, especially with those who have very low budget.
Exactly.
I think like Bournemouth, who are up there, have so much of a low budget that if they're able to add Champions League to whatever they earn from the Premier League, it makes a big difference for the club. They're able to now bring in very good players that basically guarantee them staying up in the Premier League and possibly even always being a contender for Europe.
Yeah, but sometimes my issue all the time is you have these for want of a better word, these little clubs who get into the top 4 and go into Champions League and don't really perform. So I'm like, I mean, what is the struggle to get there if you're not going to show up actually? But then again, it's good for their confidence level.
I don't think
it's good for the club.
They go in there and they are naive to think that they will win it because they know they don't have the capacity to win in Europe. Yeah. But for the fans being able to experience it, even their localities, bringing Champions League to some of their localities, the economic benefits. And then for the teams themselves, being able to host 2 games in their...
That's more money.
That's a lot of money for them. So, I mean, there's no reason why you don't want to go in there and get what the financial benefits bring.
But looking at the table as well, I mean, we can't discuss the table looking at how well some of these teams are doing and forget about their coaches. Because these teams are doing so well because of the kind of coaches they have. And coaches bring about strategy, coaches bring about confidence in the team and the players and all that. So we can take it from the top.
Well, for me, I think when you are looking at the coaches, you need to break it down. We have 2 categories. We have coaches who are in their first season, and we have coaches who have a lot of experience in the Premier League. So if you take a coach like Nuno, Nuno has vast experience in the Premier League where he started from Wolves.
To Tottenham.
After Wolves, he came to Tottenham, went to the Saudi Pro League, and he's back. One thing that was baffling is why he didn't do so well at Spurs. But Spurs is Spurs. A lot of big coaches.
Spurs.
No, I mean, it's been proven over the years.
Are you saying their problems have nothing to do with a coach?
It doesn't look like, because we have serial winners like Conte and Mourinho go in there,
still do anything,
and they still couldn't get a trophy in there.
That's quite interesting, huh?
Mourinho took them to a final, and he was sacked before the game.
Can you imagine?
So
Spurs has their own peculiar. Exactly. One day we should delve into their matters and discuss it and see what exactly the problem is.
What Nuno has benefited from with Forest is that Forest is a team that's prepared to spend. Since they were promoted to the Premier League, they spent a lot of money to basically overhaul their entire squad, bring in very young players. And what they are doing that is great is that they are actually scouting from the academies or the younger players from the big teams. So you see Elanga, who has come from United. Hudson-Odoi, who has come from Chelsea. Their captain now, this guy, what's his name? He has come from Wolves, from the academy. White. So you can see they have put together a very, almost, you can say they are experienced but very young. And
they have their experienced guy at the front.
Yes, and the experience in the Premier League. And with Wood up top, they're able to actually they can cause you harm.
A lot of harm.
So Nuno has put some very, very good team together. And if you are actually not careful, they are going to disgrace you. They're actually the only team that have been able to pull a win from Liverpool. So that says a lot.
That game, in fact, they took us by surprise. It was a 1-0 game at Anfield. So. And after that game, I've always respected them so much. They are so technically disciplined.
Very.
Everybody make sure their role is well taken care of. When they have to fall back, they fall back. When they're going, they move together. So it's very interesting. So
one area that they've actually really invested in very well is that they have some very good talent in defense. These guys are very experienced, and they are able to really show up the defense in such a way that the young boys up front are able to go out there and do their work.
And still feel comfortable at the back.
So that's is really going well. And I don't, everybody's expecting them to drop out of the top 4. But with 12 games to go, if they're able to keep their calm and they are not put under pressure, and Nuno has the experience to be able to do that, they could actually hold on to the spot and be able to do great. Currently, they sit third. And it will take a lot to actually get them out of there. So let's see how that goes.
So I mean, it's good you started from Nuno. So let's look at another coach who I think for me has done fairly very well. Let's look at Maresca. Maresca brought in some wonderful energy into the boys that he had at Chelsea, and I think for playing about 27 games so far. I think they've played about 27 games so far. And 13 wins. It's not bad.
It's not bad, but you see, for a team like Chelsea who are used to winning, the moment you see that you lost, I think currently out of the 27 games, we've lost 7.
7 of those
and
games.
For that, I mean, any Chelsea fan who is used to winning is going to raise an eyebrow. But you see, that's where we call on the directors to take responsibility, because you brought in a very inexperienced coach. His only experience was in the Championship, and you have also put together.
Are we counting his experience with mainstream coaching.
Mainstream coaches, coaching. I mean, since he was with City, he went to the championship, brought Leicester up, and then they went for him. So basically, you need to have done a lot of research to put a club like Chelsea in his hands. So 27 games, if you lost 7, drawn 7, it's still quite low for Chelsea standard, but we can say it's a first season.
Yeah, first season.
So we can say, let's look at how that goes from now. But I think we Chelsea fans, I think, were carried away because the first half of the season he did extremely well, and we were hoping that it will carry on. But I think, as much as we were hoping, we were also cautiously expecting that we knew that, okay, let's not get carried away. So for me, he's done not bad, but for the size of the club, if he was still at Leicester, this would be excellent results. But for Chelsea, the demands are higher, and he needs to up his game to be able to keep us. If he's able to hold on and get into top 4, I think it would have been a good season. Especially if he's able to win the European
the Europa.
Not Europa, Conference League.
The Conference League.
Yes.
So I mean, my personal opinion about him, I think he's done so well. Yes, but of course, comparing it to what the Chelsea of yesterday is expected. Maybe we might say, but I think we should give him another season. And I mean, you did an interesting comparison between him and Leicester, and that brings into the question of the performance of Ruud van Nistelrooy. Because you know, just before he left Manchester United, we were seeing him as a god, because all of a sudden, Charlie, Manchester showed up and they were playing so well.
Some good football.
I think he has not had the best of times at Leicester City. I expected that. You know, people thought that because he performed so well at Manchester United for those 2-3 games,
he should have been given the job.
He should have been given a job. But then I think Leicester was a good enough grounds for him to start something for an EPL league like this. Of that.
Well, to be fair to him, when he wasn't given the job, I think he was humble enough to say he was prepared to join Amorim's squad and coaching staff, just to help and also learn. So maybe he knew that he was not 100% ready for a mainstream role. But I think Leicester, based on the few games he got in Manchester United, I think the details they didn't look at was that the quality of players in United was slightly different
from that of Leicester.
Exactly. So since he's come in there out of 16 games to win 3,
that's terrible.
That's horrible.
But do you think they'll let him go, or maybe they'll say that he didn't come early in the season, so they're going to give him another season?
You see, Leicester has been a team that since they came up, they've done wonders to the point where they won the league. So the expectations are quite high. A lot of investment have gone in since.
Are still high at Leicester?
Since they actually won the league, I think a lot of investment has gone in. Yes, they lost their chairman, and that has actually brought a bit of instability. Nobody expected them to go down, but it will be quite catastrophic for them to go down again. And as to whether they can hold on, it's questionable. It's quite. I think are they in the relegation zone?
They
are in the relegation zone now,
which is quite worrying. Because they just came from there, and because to concede 35 goals in a season, it's quite problematic, you know. So I think that maybe at the end of the day, maybe he might perform better with them at Championship and bring them back to the EPL, and
but they can't afford to go down again. They can't.
But I think now it's too late, though.
Oh no!
If you look at the table,
Wolves are just I think 4 points above them, and if they're able, 5 points. If they're able to actually push themselves with the last 12 games, anything can happen, because with all these teams who are fighting for top 4 having to play those at the bottom, if they're able to actually what's on the table, if they're able to actually,
because you know we are talking about the top 4, but the relegation zone on the table is also quite very interesting. You know? So we're expecting that, I mean, a lot of changes will come up at the relegation zone of the table, because it's not also done and dusted at that stage.
It's not. If you're not careful, you can actually be pulled back in, and you need to be able to push yourself. Because it's sad for Leicester. I really like Leicester. I think they still have some really good players in there, and if they're able to push themselves well, sitting just a few points off Wolves and Ipswich, they should be able to do something.
So, I mean, I think Ipswich plays very good football. I don't know what happens during that game, but they play so well, but at the end of the day, it doesn't go too well.
Yeah.
Southampton has been terrible.
Southampton has not really shown up.
They've been terrible this season.
Terrible. I don't know. They sacked the coach, and then they brought in another coach who has not lifted anything in that club.
I'm nothing. Like, but those times to play Southampton wasn't a joke.
They stayed in the league for a very long time before they were relegated. But I think they lost most of their quality players, and now they are supposed to try and rebuild, but it's not looking good.
So I'll put you on the spot now, and I want to ask you your opinion on who do you think gets relegated, the 3 teams that goes.
Okay, so right now the 4 down there are Southampton, Ipswich, and Leicester and Wolves. Between Wolves and Leicester, although my heart moves for Leicester,
why? What's the reason? Maybe I want to share.
We got Kante from them, so
it
makes it special for me. So as much as I would love them to stay, I just think that Wolves are slightly better than them, and I don't see Wolves going down.
It will really help me if Wolves goes down, because that striker, I like that guy.
Yeah.
And I think that he's one of those players that if the team should go to relegation, top teams should go for him.
Definitely. I mean, whether they stay
or they go,
the teams are going to go for him. But the only thing is that if they are relegated, they don't get good money for him.
I mean, of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if they stay, they could actually get, definitely he's leaving.
Yeah.
And they renewed his contract, so obviously it means that they get good money. But if they are relegated, already the player is going to agitate to leave.
Yeah.
And they are going to have to let him go for peanuts.
So you are saying that for the top 4, you're expecting Ipswich, Southampton, and Leicester and Wolves to go.
Yes. I think Leicester will go.
Okay. All right. Then that's fine. I also have a little issue.
Yes.
With one of the clubs in the EPL.
Okay.
And maybe we'll have to delve into that. We will talk about Tottenham.
Okay.
And their coach.
Yes.
Tottenham has not done that bad for the past 2 seasons.
Okay.
When I say that bad, I'm just trying to compare their previous, performance.
Okay.
But with this particular season, Postecoglou, Charlie, I don't know whether it's a style of play that is not working. That's one. Yes. I don't know if it's an issue of the players, and they've gotten a lot of injuries, to be fair to them. Most of their top players are not there anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, he has played 23 games.
Yeah.
He has won 7.
Yeah, that's
bad.
Yeah.
And he has lost 13.
Yeah.
That's Tottenham.
Yeah. You see, he didn't do himself any favors when he came out to say he is Postecoglou, and every time he's joined a team, his second season,
he was running his mouth.
He wins the trophy. And when now you look at these stats and what he has produced,
he shot himself in the foot.
It becomes very, very
embarrassing.
Very embarrassing. But at least he gets to hide behind the injuries. For you to have your whole backline injured, it's crazy.
So much inexperience.
But then again, his style of play, this high line that the defenders have to go all the way to the halfway line and run back to come and defend. I mean, it's going to basically expose you, and you're going to have so many injuries. So he needs to adapt, because it's so easy to score against them.
Yeah.
Because if you are a defender, if you're a defender and you are not fit and you are not fast enough, this kind of style of play you are not going to. But he doesn't seem. I don't get this thing about coaches who don't want to adapt. This is my style, whether you like it or not, you have to play. Even when you've lost your defenders to injuries, why are you not adapting?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting, but I also sometimes think that when coaches choose not to change their style, it simply means that they believe that is what will work for them. But then sometimes I don't know if the communication between coaches and the captain of the team actually is effective enough. Because sometimes if you're a new coach that comes to the team and you come and meet some of these players, the captain might tell you that, you know what, this is our strength. So if the first style that you're coming with is not going well, can we try this and see how it works, So that is where I feel that sometimes coaches need to communicate much more. To see, especially when you're a new coach in the EPL and you just come in to take over a team. Because I get very sad for a player like Son.
I think for Son, he should have left. He should have left. But you see, you can see that he's a loyal guy.
Extremely.
He's someone that you can see that once he gives you his word, he's going to stick by it. But let me ask you a question. these coaches who are so adamant on their style and not wanting to change, is it a fear of change, stubbornness, or what is it?
Okay, I don't think it's more of stubbornness. You know, when you've achieved so much in your job or in your career, and you believe that this particular style is what has taken you to where you are now, it's very difficult for you to just meet anybody and person says change your style and you do that. But you know, yesterday one of our episodes we're talking about how coaches are a bit softer now and back then they were very strict. I think that the push of some of the coaches to change because, you know, players are a bit more advanced now. And sometimes the player knows his or her strength.
The football is now more a science.
It's more a science,
There's data.
So then if I'm a winger and you feel as though that the formation you are playing now and I have to come and play a left back position and I'm not delivering, you can't say that your player is not good. You know, so sometimes I think they should find a way of maybe adapting to the kind of players they have in the team. Because the players that you have at your disposal should determine your formation. You know, but some coaches decide not to change. It works for some coaches. They say this is my style, I'm not changing it, and they are able to get the results.
Their way,
But it's not all the time, you know.
Of course not.
So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what you think. I was going to ask you about this. Do you think they should still keep this Tottenham coach or they should let him go?
Well, I think with the injuries, I would give him another year because
this is the second year, right?
Yes, but if you let him go, who are you going for? And I think for what has also not helped is that the recruitment has been very poor. Very poor. You know, so if you look at some of the players they brought in with Richarlison and all these.
Richarlison used to be a very good guy.
He's not been who signs of Timo Werner? Who signs of with what data? You've seen him in the Premier League. You've seen what he produced.
His performance has been woefully inadequate.
So why would you go for him again? You get it. So the recruitment has been so poor, and it has not helped him. I don't know what level of influence he has when it comes to recruitment, but it's been terrible.
And even Maddison, I don't know. All these
it doesn't even rely on Maddison. Maddison always comes from the bench. So I don't know what is going, because if you're being fair, Maddison doesn't give you a lot of energy. He gives you creativity. But it looks like he prefers players who are going to give him energy. If you look at Bissouma, when they got him for less than 30 million, I was so jealous. But he's gone in there and he's just been average.
Very average. I mean, I think sometimes the kind of team you go to will determine how well you perform.
Definitely.
Because you know, we spoke about energy some episodes ago. The energy you go and meet in a particular club will determine how well you play. 100%. Currently, I can confidently tell you that Tottenham's energy is down.
It's down.
It's down.
And I don't see them getting anywhere near Europe.
No.
If they don't change something in the next 12 games.
No, I doubt. All right. So let's move on and talk about the number 2 on the table.
Okay.
Which is Mikel Arteta.
Okay.
I have criticized Arteta a number of times. And it's for good reasons. I don't hate Arsenal club. I don't hate the coach. But I think that I always say that the club deserves more.
Okay.
And for me, some of the decisions that he might have taken might have gone against him. I always said I see the energy the Arsenal players play with. I mean, you can't take that away from Arsenal, their style of play and all that. I mean, he and it's good. He's played about 25 games. Lost about 3 of them. You know, won 14. And for us now, maybe the number of wins should have been more than this.
Of course,
you know. But I think that Arteta being given another season, personally, I don't know what he's going to be doing different. Maybe what might happen different is that he might beef up the team with the necessary strikers, necessary players that they need to take the cup or the EPL trophy. So I don't know what you think.
Well, I mean, he said a very interesting statement. I think it is very unnecessary, and that is what has always made certain. I mean, Arsenal fans are beginning to actually alienate themselves from him because some of the things he says and the things his mentality gets a bit annoying. But for a coach who is trying to push for the league, to come out and make a statement that this season might be over but the next one belongs to us.
And who says you are there in the next season?
Exactly. You see, no, but actually he believes that if he's able to, the last piece of the puzzle is a top striker. He believes once he brings in a top striker, there's no way they're not winning the league. But it's not guaranteed.
Well, why wasn't that belief there before the season?
I don't know. One, if you are prepared to spend over 60 million on Calafiori or whatever it's called, and you are not going to, you didn't think of prioritizing a striker.
Yeah.
You put all your eggs in one basket on Havertz, who is not even proven in the Premier League when it comes to striking. I don't know why he feels that he's. It almost sounds as if he is complaining that the board didn't give him what he wants.
Yeah.
But
so next
you've had money to spend,
yeah.
and you chose to strengthen your defense rather than go for the attack.
Yeah.
So next season, as you are strengthening, City is going to strengthen.
Yeah.
Chelsea will strengthen. Liverpool are going to strengthen. So what makes you think that it's a done deal?
Well, I mean, that is why I feel as though that sometimes some of his comments and his statements are
brings a lot of unnecessary pressure on him.
And not just on him, on the players as well.
Yeah.
You see, when you do that, then you start letting your players have less confidence in you.
True.
So I think that Mikel Arteta is actually currently even being criticized by his own Arsenal, the fans of Arsenal.
No, some are calling for his head. Actually.
Yeah.
Some want him out.
Yeah. And sometimes I feel as though that even if you're a fan of a club, sometimes you need to take off that fan cap and just be objective about issues. Because I honestly, as I sit here, I don't know what Arteta is going to do different next season.
His mentality is a problem.
You might have the striker, but like you're saying, your mentality might not give it all.
Yeah. You know, remember when they drew against Nottingham?
Yeah.
And Arteta comes for an interview and says that, well, they are the team that beat Liverpool. And we drew against them, so it means we are better. And I'm like, how?
Does that really matter?
Exactly.
Yeah. Does that really matter?
So the mentality is such a big problem that if he doesn't look at it, I mean, they are not going to win anything. And for me, he'll be lucky to keep the team together for next season. But if they don't win anything next season, it will start scattering.
Well, and you know, we spoke about him getting more players in.
Yeah.
But what he's not guaranteed is actually maintaining some of even his key players, because during the transfer window a lot of surprises may spring up.
Well, I mean, I don't know any player in there now apart from the French players who may want to leave. Jesus will want to leave.
Yeah, I mean,
Partey looks like he's on his way out. Jorginho, I don't know, I think he's also on his way out. He's talking about bringing in Joshua Kimmich from Bayern. I don't know if they are going to get him.
It's not even a done deal.
It's not. I mean, they are currently talking to him. I don't know whether he's going to want. He is a free transfer.
Yeah, free transfer.
So any club can talk to him, and there's no guarantee that he will pick Arsenal. So he's going to lose some players, even in attack. I don't know between Martinelli and Trossard who is going to stay, because Trossard doesn't look himself. He doesn't look happy. So I mean, they still have to build.
Why won't Trossard be happy? I think he's gotten enough playing time in Arsenal. And he's been banking in the goals as well.
His body language doesn't look like the guy who came in the first. And I remember a couple of comments have come.
He always has this indifferent look on.
Yeah. That looks like, I mean, he may want to move on. Yes. So he needs to refreshen the team and see if he can bring more creativity up front. And it's a lot of work for a project that have gone for 5 years. They still don't seem to be anywhere near the end.
They don't have their acts together.
Exactly. And it's sad, but I mean, I'm not an Arsenal fan. I'm actually enjoying it. I hope next.
You are being honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm being objective. I'm speaking to the facts, but I enjoy the mistakes he's making. Because if he had gone in for Osimhen last season, I would have been so jealous. But he didn't, and as much as I was baffled. Why not? I loved it.
Anyway, so we can't talk about the top four without talking about Guardiola.
Yes.
Yeah, we can't do that. I think that we've all spoken time and time again about the performance of Manchester City, how woeful it has been over the period or this season. However, I always say, wherever you find me talking about Guardiola, I always say I never write him off. And as much as the season has been bad for Manchester City, can you imagine? We're saying a season has been bad for them, but they're in the top four. You know,
they are, but it's not guaranteed that they hold on to that. I mean, this is like a very woeful City team whereby out of 27 games, if Guardiola have won just 14, already lost 8.
It's crazy.
This
Manchester is like a
unrecognizable.
Record.
It's not. It's something that I'm sure he kicks himself in his sleep.
Yeah.
This is so unlike him.
Yeah.
But he has to make do with whatever. So right now, he may just be content with top 4, so that at least they have Champions League football next season, and then he rebuilds and see how he can come again stronger.
So I tell you what, right? Looking at the table, we have Liverpool at 67, Arsenal 54, Nottingham Forest 48, and whatnot. And I want you to mark down this episode that is likely Guardiola might end up being second on the table.
Well, I mean, the next 12
for
games
the next 12 games,
but I don't know which players are going to be coming back from injury. I know Rodri has started training. But I doubt if he can make it.
I mean, Rodri is not even part of his plan this season.
I don't think. No, Rodri is trying to fight to come back actually.
Before the
end of the season, yes. If they're able to put a good run together for the next, out of the next 12 games, if they can win comfortably 7, I think they will make the.
So you think the City can go like a whole 12 run winning all the games?
From the current City that we know, it's always unexpected. You don't know what to expect. You get it. Although the last few games have actually been good, they still have to play some of the top teams. They still have to play Arsenal. They have to play Chelsea. They have to play. I don't know if I can say United anymore. So it's going to make it a bit challenging. So they'll drop points. As to how much they drop is what I'm interested to see.
Okay. Yeah. That's fine. So there are 2 more coaches I want us to discuss.
Yeah.
And this coach I want us to discuss because I feel as though that in as much as his team does very well, I think sometimes he's a bit overhyped, maybe because, I mean, he's English. Eddie Howe.
Eddie Howe.
Oh, yeah, Eddie Howe of Newcastle.
Yes.
I mean, Newcastle plays some very good football. But I think at the end of each season, they are not actually at the level or the table where they are supposed to be or where we expect them to be.
Yeah.
This season has been amazing for them. They have some great finishers. Isak is a darling boy of not just Newcastle, but of the Premier League now. What would be your impression of him? Because I think that he's really spoken about a lot of times,
Okay. When Eddie Howe got the Newcastle job, especially after they got the whole injection of capital from new owners, I was surprised that was the coach they decided to go for, because he had left Bournemouth, and that's not such a prestige club that you feel that if you are looking at the new era of Newcastle, he is the man to go
to make some changes.
But what I like about him is that he's one of the coaches who have not tried to re-engineer the game. You can still see traditional football whereby we are direct. We try to put the ball in the box, and it's been very refreshing to see. Like, he's playing pure Premier League football. Yeah,
pure Premier League football.
So that gives you you want to watch their games because you don't know what to expect. Physicality, pace, and all that. And they have a guy up top who is doing the job, which is
amazing.
Isak.
Amazing.
So it's gone very well for him in terms of whatever. I think with where Newcastle want to go to, as to whether he'll be the man to help them to break into the top 4,
it's another question.
Consistently keep them in the Champions League, win 1 or 2 trophies in there. He hasn't proven that over there.
With the kind of football they are playing, Charlie, they deserve a trophy, man.
They do, but you see, they lose games that you don't expect them to lose. And that is where it gets a bit worrying. So for me, I love Eddie Howe. I think he's one of the most experienced Premier League coaches.
Actually.
He's been also, it's an English coach, one of the only English surviving coaches.
In the EPL.
In the EPL. So, I mean, for the country, they need him to do well.
They need him to do well.
You understand? Because all the foreign coaches are coming in there and seem to be making a mark. So you want Eddie Howe to actually do well so that at least they can be able to start looking at English coaches for some of the big jobs.
Okay.
So for me, he's not doing bad.
All right, sure. So finally, I want us to talk about the coach at the top. My coach.
Yes.
Liverpool's coach.
Yes.
And Slot.
Yes.
If I'm left to talk about this guy, I mean, I think I might be talking more than necessary. But for me, for playing 28 games, being able to win 20 of them, he's lost only 1 game and 7 draws. I think it's an amazing performance for him as a new coach in the EPL.
I think he's done fantastically well. I still insist that the Premier League has not been very competitive this year at the top, because I would have really want to see City at their best competing against him, so that at least you can be able to measure because Klopp went toe-to-toe with Pep, and Pep, he has earned Pep's respect.
Okay.
And I would have actually wanted Slot to have that opportunity. But it's early days here. This is first season.
Yeah.
And it's good to get some credit in the bank by winning. So that next season, I want to see when teams correct their mistakes and now they go. I want to see the real Slot, whether he'll be able to actually use his strategy to actually do what he's done this season.
Okay. I wouldn't totally agree with you on that.
I think it's Liverpool.
I think he deserves his accolades. Every season has its outcome that are actually not envisaged.
Sure.
So I believe that even we've had a few comments here and there from Guardiola, who has actually really respected the kind of ball or kind of formation he's playing. Next season, yes, of course, every coach is judged every season based on their performance. But for me, I think we should give him his props this season.
Oh, for sure.
He's done very well, regardless of whatever injuries other teams have had or whether team didn't show up. It could have been worse. Because when Klopp was leaving, we all didn't know the outcome of a new coach coming in. So I think kudos to him. But one thing I agree with you with is that the challenge will be different next season.
Of course.
Yeah. And the challenge will be different because he might not have the players he still has.
He will lose some.
Yes, he will lose some. Then we will also have to see when he goes into the market, based on his formation or what he wants to play, the caliber of players you'll be interested in.
Yeah.
That will say a lot about the next season because then he's in full control of that particular season.
Okay.
Then we can rate him as well for that season.
Great.
Manchester United. Amorim.
As for Amorim, you see, it's regrettable.
Yeah.
I regret for him. I don't know if he regret for himself because I think
he does. His comments says a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
But you see, for a very young coach, I think he needs to stick in there and then try and change things because he can't be sacked. If he's sacked, his CV is messed up.
No, he can't be sacked. He just came in.
He just came in, but like I said when we spoke about United, but for how bad the teams below them have been, they would have been in the midst of the relegation. There will be, because if you take away the points that what do you call it? Ten Hag
left. Before
he has played 16 games, he won just 5. That's just what, 20 points.
That's
15 points. Can you imagine? And that's horrible. They've scored just about 21 goals.
Yeah.
They conceded 27. It's scary.
The goals they've conceded.
The form they are in is very worrying.
Yeah.
And I you see, for his record, I'm sure he's sitting in a room and saying, "Why did I take this job?" So I don't know whether it was ego, right? To say I can do this.
Yeah.
That has let him down. Did he underestimate how bad things were in there? Because if you sat down and you looked at the caliber of coaches who have actually come in there and then not been able to do the job, he should have known that I'm no bigger than any of these coaches.
Yeah.
But I think for a young, ambitious coach, that was also an opportunity to say, okay, if I go in there and I'm able to turn this around, I basically have so much credit in the bank.
So much.
I could be there for years.
Yeah. But I think what he's doing right now is actually he's holding on for next season. Believe you me, there's not much he can do. He just has to hold on and not get into the relegation zone, which I doubt he will even get there.
Yeah.
So that next season they do what they have to do. Because I really doubt that they expected Amorim to come into the league, take over Manchester United and take them to the top 4. I doubt that.
Not this season.
Yeah, not this season. But I know that what he's trying to do right now is keep his head above water.
Yeah.
Get through to the next season. Then maybe he can bring in his players and change his formation and do what he wants to do. So I think with Amorim, that's
time will judge him.
Yeah. There's one last coach we need to talk about because he's doing amazing things. And he has been in the EPL for some time now.
Yeah.
He was at Arsenal. He actually performed not bad there.
Unai
Emery.
Yes.
Unai Emery at Aston Villa is doing wonderful. Unai Emery at Aston Villa, there's something going on there.
Yeah.
I look at the caliber of players they are bringing in now. I mean, he's actually poised to make some changes in that club. Yeah, and I think so far, so good.
I think what Aston Villa has done fantastically well is that they've actually put all their hope in Unai Emery.
Yeah.
They've trusted him fully. So they've left the club to him.
Yeah.
And so, okay, do your thing. And that have actually given him room to maneuver.
Yeah.
So you can see he has so much power in there, bringing in the players he wants. But for the fact that Champions League has been a big toll on their squad because they don't have a big squad,
they don't actually.
I think they would actually be really doing very well, and they will be comfortably in or around the top 4
for the EPL.
Yes, Unai Emery, when it comes to European tournaments, have always been up there. He's won the Europa League how many times? He's not done great in Champions League, so maybe that would have been where they should have gone because he can win that for them. But I think there are great things happening in that, as you said, and they are not scared to spend.
No, they are not.
They are bringing in some very interesting players. Asensio just came in. They have Rashford on loan who wants to stay.
Rashford wants to stay.
Exactly. So they are gradually building a very young squad that could actually worry over the next few years.
So I think the coaches have their own weakness and their strengths. This year a lot has happened in the EPL. It's still not over yet.
No, it's not.
And I believe that there's a lot of drama about to unfold, dramatic ends.
And also the next 12 games is going to be wild.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild.
Because most of these teams have to play each other.
And I know that all the lovers of football will be sticking close to their team to watch all these 12 games. 100%. And First Half Podcast will be here to give you all the necessary commentaries, opinions, and stuff that happens in the last 12 games. You can also always refer to our previous videos that we spoke about what is about to happen in the next 12 games. Because our opinions are always very interesting, I believe. Now, the comment section is there. Let us have your opinions about all that we've discussed. Give us your opinion because, of course, what we say is what we think. Oh, bro.
Yep. Definitely.
So thank you for sticking and tuning over here. Cheers.
See you guys.